Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you could all stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none, can I get a verification of the posting of the agenda, please?
Tara Adams for the record. The agenda was posted on the 14th day of May, 2026, between the hours of 12 and 5 p.m. at all the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Thank you, Tara. We'll move on to number 5, consideration and possible action. Approval of the minutes of the meetings held on April 13th, 2026, special meeting budget hearing, April 15th, 2026, April 17th, 2026, special meeting appointment of the sheriff. Can I get a motion for those minutes, please?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes for April 13th, 2026, April 15th, 2026, and April 17th, 2026.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Move to our appointments. 6A, presentation of 2026 Jim Reagan Memorial Scholarship to the following individuals in the amount of the scholarship: Jillian Morales, $2,000; Natalie Martinez de la Cruz, $1,500; Samantha Maffey, $1,000; Mackenzie Mills, $1,000; and Zach Adams, $500. And with that, I'll pass it over to Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Spross for the record. So this morning we are going to be presenting the Jim Reagan scholarships to the applicants that were awarded the scholarship. This money is raised by the Fallon Golf Course, and we are always appreciative of the contribution that the Fallon Golf Course makes to this scholarship. What I'd like to do is read out the name and have that person come up, get their certificate, stand for a picture with the commission, and then if everybody could stick around, then we'd like to get a picture of everyone that received a scholarship to stand and get a photo. We have two people here we have two people that will not be here today because they're graduating from WNC this morning, so that took precedent. What do you need? She can say something.
Can I just say real quick, this is my first year being involved with this program, and I just wanted to say that the caliber of applicants we got was mind-blowing. I am continually impressed by the young people in this community, and I am so proud of the kids here today that are going to go out in the world and represent us. Thank you so much for your hard work and your achievements.
She rained on my parade there, didn't she? All right, well, then we'll go ahead and get started. The first for $2,000 is Juliana Morales. I do believe she is one of the people that is graduating today, so congratulations to her. As well, I think Natalia Martinez de la Cruz, the $1,500, I believe she is also not here today, so congratulations to her as well. For $1,000, we have Samantha Maffey. If you could come up. Congratulations, Samantha. Then again with $1,000, Mackenzie Mills. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mackenzie. And the last recipient for today, in the amount of $500, is Zach Adams. Congratulations, Zach. Could I have Samantha and Mackenzie come up again for a picture with the commissioners? Congratulations to everyone and for behalf in their education and their future.
Thank you, Chris. Congratulations to you all. We'll move to 6B, consideration and possible action, approval of 6 settlement agreements relating to the national opioid settlement. Wade?
Thank you, Wade Carner, for the record. This is just an approval of an additional 6 settlements with some of the defendants in the opioid agreement. This is just a ratification of the signature on those settlement agreements, and here to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Wade. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve entering into an additional settlement agreements in the national opioid settlement litigation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. 6C, consideration and possible action, presentation and approval of the Pool Pact insurance policy for Churchill County. And with that, I'll turn it over to, well, whoever wants to take the mic. I'll introduce him and then make it. Perfect. Joe, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Joe Sanford for the record. As you may know, Pool Pact is our insurance company for regular liability insurance as well as our workers' compensation insurance. It is a self-insurance program that is a pool of all of the, or not all, but many of the local governments, cities, and other government agencies here in Nevada. It provides us a way to keep costs down as well as ensure that we get the necessary coverage if needed. Today we have Alan Kalt and Stephen Romero with us. They are representatives from, it is Stephen, right? Yes. See? They're representatives from Pool. They're going to go through a presentation, and they have probably the best news that I've ever had from them, which is that they are providing us a decrease this year.
You would think I would remember. Yeah, there's no place like home. There's no place like home, right? For the record, Alan Kalt, Chief Financial Officer for Pool Pact. Yeah, it's a great day in Churchill County. You know, it's great to come home, be part of the community, and I still live here, as you well know, that has done great things. You know, and as we look at Pool Pact, we presented with you, everyone should have received a opportunity coin. It's not a challenge coin, but rather it's an opportunity coin. And it shows on one side of the coin the Nevada Public Agency Insurance Pool. We were established in 1987. That's the property, the liability coverage. Our workers' comp was formed and established 30 years ago, April 1st, 1996. And that provides workers' comp coverage. The pool itself is member-owned, member-governed. You own us. We work for you. We work for our members that are cities, counties, school districts, general improvement districts. But if you look on that coin, look on the edge. There's some words inscribed. Proactive, accountability, responsibility, strength, stability, safety, and service. 7 words. 7 words that we, as Pool Pact, try to live by every day. 7 words that you as elected officials, you as leaders in the community, live by every day to make your community better. 7 words that we as individuals can look at and live by to have a fuller, more meaningful life as productive members of society. Those young kids that just got recognized as scholarships today, these same 7 words can help guide them to the bright future, to see the sun rise and see the awesomeness of the future that Churchill County, Fallon, the school district has provided through the leadership of our elected officials to make this a great community. Proactive. At Pool, we're proactive. We focus on the future. We anticipate. We prepare. We had some coverage challenges. Our broker, Stephen Romero, met that challenge. Every year we go to the markets. We go out to bid, if you will, to get the best price. We had to restructure things. And through the due diligence and the programs and the efforts and the work of all our members, as Mr. Sanford pointed out, you're going to see a rate reduction. We were able to anticipate, and the market rewarded us for our leadership. But one of the things about being proactive is being able to be calm during chaos. Calm during chaos. And one of the greatest examples of being proactive is in 2017, the big dig here in Churchill County. Gary Fawkes, TCID, Cody Biggs, the Board of County Commissioners, the Sheriff's Office, the DA's office, working with the farmers to divert all that water, make a 17-mile channel. We've told that story to the London marketplace to benefit our rates. How our members are very proactive, and guess what? We didn't have a property loss. We didn't have a public property loss. We didn't have a private property loss because of the leadership and the proactivity of, in this case, Churchill County, just doing what they do every day, working with their citizens, working with the farmers, making a big difference. What's interesting about that is, guess what? Through your leadership and the copycat, if you will, Lyon County, Lincoln County, and Esmeralda County did the same thing in 2021 during the high water years. They worked on diverting waters, cleaning channels, and doing those things because they had heard the success of Churchill County being proactive. So when the rain came and the floods happened, there was a sense of calm during that chaos. Which leads to the next word, right? Accountability. Taking ownership of your decisions, okay? Let's pick on the Churchill County Comptroller's Office. Okay, through the leadership and the guidance of Sherry Weideman and her predecessors, you've established the Stabilization of Operations Fund, Extraordinary Repairs and Maintenance, Risk Management, Unemployment, Compensation, Equipment Replacement. Being accountable to the taxpayers, setting up the financial future to get you through chaos that at some point may come down the road. At Pool Pact, creating our captives, okay, was a way that we showed accountability back to our members. Taking higher deductibles and being able to invest in risk assets and having a sustainable future. Responsibility, a duty or an obligation to take on future tasks, okay? The payment of claims. We have a responsibility at Pool and Pact to pay for the property liability, all these claims. We must have the money to do that. The injured worker, we must have the resources available to get them back in the game, to get them back to work healthy and happy as if the accident never happened, okay? We talk about responsibility, and I look at the Sheriff's Department. NDOG, the Nevada Detention Officers Working Group. Leah Roscoe, Sheriff Orozco hosted that group yesterday in Fallon, and Churchill County Sheriff's Office has been very actively involved in taking responsibility of having one of the best run jails in the great state of Nevada. And what's interesting about the NDOG group is that all 17 counties are not a member of Pool Pact. But guess what? All 17 counties participate in that NDOG. We have Clark County, Washoe County wanting to learn from the rural counties and the excellence that is done. And I tip my hat to Sheriff Orozco for his and his staff's active involvement on that. Responsibility and service talks about doing passive network assessments, cybersecurity, testing your vulnerabilities, investing in an ISO 1 fire department to serve the community, which leads to the word, service. Working together, everyone achieves more. We see that epitomizes Churchill County and what you guys do in our community, the department heads, the elected officials, the dedicated, the employees, the citizens, always stepping up where there's a need, okay? Stability. Stability and strength of Pool Pact moderates the rates so we don't have high fluctuations. Within our pricing model, especially on the workers' comp, we have a smoothing effect where we smooth out premiums over a 4-year period of time. We look at that 4 years, and plus or minus, they have collars so that if you have a shock loss, your rates aren't going to increase by more than 15%. We have financial resources to create financial stability. In the same way that the District Attorney Office worked and attended our litigation strategy session to make sure that we have the right leadership in the way to address and defend claims, okay, and to advocate for the right thing for the taxpayers, doing the right thing daily when, and sometimes maybe not taking the easy way out, doing the right thing. Having strength, thought leadership within our organization, within our city managers, county managers, our board of trustees, county commissioners, city councils, everybody working, the thought knowledge and the thought leadership there, developing best practices and sharing those. We have members helping members. Our Fit for Retirement program, a 4-month metabolic reset, okay? The clerk treasurer's office setting up and sweep accounts and investments and being able to get a return on that, providing financial strength and stability back to the taxpayers. And the last word, safety. We have an enterprise risk management program. We have lots of programs available for you to not only have safety for your communities, public safety in the community, but also safety for the employees. And when all else fails, we provide coverage. Coverage, when risk management fails, that provides an opportunity. We have the money to pay those claims. So just like back in the day, I always had Pam run slides because I'm like, it's not working. Thank you. Oh, we already covered those. So those are the 7 words. Think about those words, 1 word every day of the week. Try to focus on that personally for yourself in your own life. I challenge you. Our members are the center of everything we do. Right there is alphabet soup. We call ourselves Pool Packed. We are Pool Packed. The pool is the Nevada Public Agency Insurance Pool, that red octagon. Okay, our workers' comp is the green. Our 2 captives are below that. Okay, we have an executive committee that's ran by members, both on the pool side, made up of small entities, large entities, special districts, school districts, those type of things. We have fire districts. We have our enterprise risk management, loss control committee. We have our HR oversight committee that we have. And we offer a tremendous number of services as we go to the next slide. Thank you, Linda. In law enforcement, as the sheriff knows, we got your 6, right? What that means is we got your back. Law enforcement has the back of the community to create a safe environment. Well, we have 6 distinct levels of services that we provide to our members at no additional cost. Enterprise risk management, loss control services, health and wellness, human resources, on-demand learning, e-learning. Our e-learning platform won an bronze international award a year and a half ago down in Florida. And it's pretty awesome that Mike Van Houten, our e-learning specialist, and what he's able to do in specialized training and how he has embraced AI into those learning things. We have emergency support services and cybersecurity. As we go to the next slide, you'll see a bunch of the services that are provided, and I kind of weaved a lot of that into the discussion of those 7 words. Next, we lead into our structure and our program structure of the different levels of coverage. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Stephen Romero to talk about some of the enhancements and the increases that we've been able to do, even in spite of a lower reduction in premium at Churchill.
So, for the record, Stephen Romero with Pool Packed. I am the relations manager and also the broker for your program to put all the insurance placements that you see up there into your coverage document. There were a couple things that we had to make some adjustments on this year. We ended up having to completely restructure your cyber program, and then we did some other restructuring within your liability program as well. When we went to the London market, one of the things that we spoke about was how can we do the best for our underwriters over in London? And one of the things that we always talk about is keeping our insured values correct. And we have partnered with Centra Risk, who does all of our on-site appraisals. We've been working with them for almost 26 years now. And when we spoke to the underwriters over in London, one of the underwriters actually came to us and said, you know what, we always do spot checks just to see how your values are adding up to if it kind of matches what we come up with. We were at less than a 1% what they had come up with against our numbers. So, that speaks volumes when we go to the market. During those hard times in the market, which were those times that we were seeing those increases that were happening on the property side, we actually didn't receive as hard a hit as many people did that were in the marketplace. And part of that was because of us keeping those values how they are. The other thing while we were over there is we spoke with our underwriters about increasing our limits. So we used to have 300 million per occurrence limits on our property. We now have 500 million. Actually, I go back. Yeah, I want that other slide back up because that's the tower. The other thing that I was able to do was talk to our equipment breakdown policy. Our equipment breakdown policy always was at $100 million. They actually gave us an extra $50 million underneath our equipment breakdown policy at the exact same rate this year. Our regular structure remains the same, where the pool and its captive takes on the first $500,000 on the property. Your deductible does apply below that. So any loss that you have, if I remember correctly, yours is a $50,000 deductible that you have that applies to every single loss, whether it be a property loss or a liability loss. Our cyber program does not have any deductible to that program. We want those reported immediately. We want to make sure that we're jumping on those as quickly as possible, so that's why we made the decision not to put a deductible underneath our cyber. On the liability side, you being a muni, one of the structure changes that we made, and this is kind of all behind the scene part, right? So one of the structure changes that we made was we went from a 500,000 SIR to $1 million SIR for munis. What that means to you as a pool member and as an owner is that for every single loss, your pool is going to be taking on the first $1 million before market even touches it. We were able to also restructure some of the blue layers that you see up there. We had to make some adjustments there, and that's where we ended up also seeing a little bit of a decrease once we made those changes within that structure. So on the reinsurance side, you know, we overall, between the property, liability, and cyber, the terrorism, and the environmental, we actually had almost a 13% decrease in overall rate year over year. Your program, again, does include the cyber. One of the big changes that we had within the cyber program was that before we used to have sublimits with regards to your first party, which would be your losses, and we had $250,000 first party limit. Now we have a total $1 million limit for first party and third party liability. Terrorism coverage remains the same, and so does the environmental impact or environmental. So I believe I touched on all of the changes that we ended up having within our coverage form. One of the other things I want to bring up, if you go to the next slide, is we did make a change within the interlocal agreement as well that occurred at our annual board meeting, and this was to amend Article 22. What the Article 22 consists of is it has a 120-day notification if a member wants to withdraw. With that, we've actually, and prior to this year, it used to take a 2/3 vote of the board to remove any member. What this did was it removes that 2/3 vote. So if a member comes to us and gives that withdrawal notification, the executive committee could actually vote to just say, we don't want you in our pool any longer anyway. So it takes away that needing to have that 2/3 vote from the full board. Overall, you had almost a 5% decrease year over year in your contributions. Again, when we look at the total insured property value, where that one was a 3% increase year over year, that's where you ended up getting the most savings, because our total rate with the property side was about a 15% decrease over expiring rate-wise. So even though we increased our payroll, which is how liability is based for you, even though we increased that payroll by 11.5%, we ended up totally receiving a total decrease in your overall contribution to the pool. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions or comments from board or staff?
Mr. Murray, thank you for clarifying the interlocal agreement. I had a question on that, and thanks for the information there. What prompted you guys to do that?
For the interlocal agreement? You know, it's kind of that point where if we've had members in the past that have given us those withdrawals that weren't the best members that we would have. And this kind of just gives the executive committee a little bit more power to be able to just say, you know, we don't have to offer them renewal instead of, and it doesn't come from our office, it would come from your executive committee that would give us those orders to say, we just don't want to offer them renewal instead of having to go through the entire board process to have them removed as a member of the pool or pact.
So that is a member activated, not activated by you? So,
No,
okay.
wasn't activated by us.
We're a member of the Association of Government Risk Pools, which have risk pools similar to Pool Pact across the United States, Canada, and in Australia. And there are several of our peer pools that have that similar clause. And for example, one of the phrases that you've heard over the last 4 years at Pool Pact at our annual meeting is addition by subtraction. We had 2 adverse members that their loss ratio exceeded 150%. So what that means is that, you know, if you paid $100, we were paying over $150 of claims. All right, whereas, you know, the theoretical hold, if you will, is 68%. What is the loss ratio is what's anticipated. Once that member had left, okay, and pricing had, you know, we talked about stability in pricing. Pricing kept going up because of the formulas, but the colors were there. They decided to go shopping, and the good news is they found somewhere else, okay? And then, you know, they went on their merry way. The pool's financial strength continued to build in their absence. Under this policy, there would have been an opportunity earlier to address that issue without having to get a 2/3 vote of the entire membership.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, I got one other thing. You know, Stephen had talked about our annual meeting. At the annual meeting, we passed out some awards, and we wanted to recognize local governments that are doing some of the best practices. And of course, Churchill County was recognized. They weren't there to receive it, but you probably are well aware that you have an investment policy, okay? And within that investment policy, it's managed by the Court Treasurer's Office, okay? Within that investment policy, they have various buckets of money. They have the overnight money, they have short-term money that might be at the local government investment pool, and then they have longer-term money that is out there. And one of the things that we've been advocating over the last 3 years is setting up sweep accounts. And through the leadership of the Court Treasurer's Office, shout out to Linda specifically, you guys had at your last year, June 30th, 25 financial statements, $3.46 million of interest earnings. You divide that by the total available investment amount, that was a 4.27% increase. So what we did is we recognized some of the top local governments that had a clean sweep. And of course, Alan with me with my dad jokes and stuff, I got brooms. And of course, those of you, because I'm in Churchill County, you understand the red pin. So they're all red brooms. And I want to present Linda with her award, the broom. And yes, hold it proud. There you go, atta girl. Those are tax dollars that the taxpayers don't have to contribute additional taxes to. And I looked at your financial statements. That would pay for the Court Treasurer's Office, the Recorder's Office, and the Assessor's Office in the aggregate. So yes, she does make money while she sleeps because the money's swept overnight. She's earning about 3.75% interest overnight. The money's back when she's at work at 6 in the morning. The money's back there earning. But great job, Linda.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, is there any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the renewal proposal from the Nevada Public Agency Insurance Pool and approval for payment from 2026-2027 funds.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
No, we want to thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being a member of the pool and supporting.
Thank you. Move to 7A, public hearing, Consideration and possible action, approval of the Churchill County final budget and tax rate for fiscal year 2026 and 2027. Sherry, the floor is all yours.
See if I got it on okay, do. Okay, I'm going to present the final budget to you and the tax rate hearing. Under NRS 354.598, the final budget, the statute requires that we have a public hearing before June 1st. We also need to indicate the changes between the tentative and the final budget. And then we ask you to approve the final budget by majority vote. And then I need to submit it to taxation. So now I'm going to go through the changes between the tentative budget and the final budget. Taxation did approve the tentative budget without any changes, so that was nice. So for the revenue, what changed is, if you recall, we had requested that CCCOM give us the additional $300,000 to transfer, and they couldn't do it between the tentative because the tentative had already been filed, so they added it to their budget, and we're allocating it to the general fund, $175,000 to the general fund and $125,000 to Parks and Rec. And then for the expenditures, I was requested to add the job study to the various funds. We had put a place marker in the general fund. And so to come to the job study changes, it totaled to $1,346,381 budgeted expenses. This is just the budget part. And so for the general fund, also I want to note that when I did this slideshow, I had not included the compensated absences, and when Jamie was putting in, she reminded us that we needed to account for that liability so that each fund would have to pay for their liability for compensated absences. So those came out to $12,130, which will be allocated between all of the funds. And so the budget that I passed out includes that as well. So the general fund had an increase of salary and wages of $980,105, and their compensated absences were $8,765. And to cover this, I'm going to move money. I moved money from the contingency fund, and we placed that $1 million in, and so that covered that. For the general fund, and stop me if you have any questions as I go along, but otherwise I'll just keep going. Then for the road department, it had an increase of $116,139, and their compensated absences increase was 1,050. And social services had an increase from the job study of 41,500 and 91,000, and their compensated absences were 376,000. Also, County Manager Spross wanted to advocate from the wish list that one item that was on the wish list that wasn't put into budget prior was the reclassification of the office supervisor to human services manager, and that was an increase of $21,763,000. So I don't know if Chris wanted to talk on that for a little bit, or if we had any discussion. So that was added to the budget. Then we had the library fund, and that had an increase of the $47,888,000, and their compensated absence increase was $336. And then the Parks and Rec Fund had an increase of $123,531, and the compensated absences for those was 1,169,000. And what happened with this, because all the other funds, their ending fund balance was still good, and it didn't have to be adjusted by any increase in revenues. However, this amount did bring Parks and Rec down to a negative fund balance of $93,722,000. So therefore, that's why some of the CCCOM money was put in there to the tune of $125,000 to shore up that fund. Then the Life Center had an increase of $47,888,000, and their compensated absence was increased by $433,000. And that ends the budget part, final budget part. Then I'm going to roll into the tax rate, unless you have any questions on the final budget. Okay. This is the historic tax rate. We're at our maximum tax rate that we can charge, so nothing's changed from 2015 to 2027. And this is the allocation of the funds. There's no changes, same as last year. And this was presented also with the tentative budget. There was no change between then and now. And the 2026-2027 county tax rate is 2.863, and the city of Fallon is 3.66. And that's an estimate of the property taxes based on the assessment of $100,000. And here is a slide of the allocation of how the portion of our taxes are allocated. And again, no changes. So again, no changes. And this is how the general tax rate has been allocated to the various funds. The general fund gets the 84.6 cents, social services gets 6.5, senior center gets 6, the library gets 6.5, and cooperatives extension gets 2. And it's at your board's discretion on how that is allocated, but that hasn't been changed. And this is the allocation of the overrides, which are mandated. Well, except for like the fire equipment is taxpayer approved. And that's the school district's portion, which is the largest portion. And this is just from the audit. These are the top 10 taxpayers as of 6/30/2025, just for your information. And that can be found in our audit that was presented earlier this year. And so now all we have is the submission of the final budget. If you're all good with it, then I have a signature page which requires all your signatures on it because it's the final budget. And then I will get you a bound copy and get it all printed out with the signatures on it and send it to taxation. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Okay, is there any public comment?
Thank you.
If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027 as submitted, and furthermore approving the final budget as submitted and directing the comptroller to file the budget with the Department of Taxation as required by statute.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Sherry. Did anyone want to pull any of the letters received? Okay, we'll jump to old business. 9A, consideration and possible action. Approval of an agreement for purchase of a conservation restrictive use easement with Trevor Luis de Braga and Taylor Shea de Braga on APN number 009-071-07, APN number 009-072-13, and APN number 009-072-21, totaling 212.48 acres with 173.75 acres of water rights for the sum of $550,000. Alexa?
Alexa Robinson for the record. This is the final conservation restrictive use easement that we're trying to get through this fiscal year. This one has already gone through sending site. It's approved site. It's prepared. This is the amount agreed upon. Both the county and the landowner has signed the agreement. I spoke with the Navy yesterday. They are aware that if we cannot get these through this fiscal year, we are not increasing next fiscal year's budget. So committing to this won't increase funds in the future. They're aware of that situation. They'll have to adjust next fiscal year's work. But we are working very, very hard. They are working very, very hard. They've had issues with their title company retiring and having to find a new title company. We're going to try our best to push this through before June 30th. If not, it will not increase the funds next year required to get these through. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the purchase of a conservation easement and 277 transferable development rights from the approved sending site, assessor's parcel numbers 00-071-07, 009-072-13, and 009-072-21.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Alexa. Old business 9B, consideration and possible action. Ratification of the agreement between Churchill County Social Services and the State of Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, Aging and Disability Services in the amount of $35,508.00 to support the purchase of domestically produced foods and support Meals on Wheels and the in-house dining program. Who's taking this one? You, Chris?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Ross for the record. So Churchill County Social Services has been awarded $35,508 to support the purchase of domestically produced items such as milk, fruit, vegetables, or protein products. This funding helps to offset the cost for the Meals on Wheels program as well as the in-house dining room services. Just an FYI, in fiscal year 25, Churchill County received two allocations totaling $35,809. So currently, this allocation has been reduced by $301 due to federal allocations. With that, I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments? Okay, is there any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the ratification as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll jump to new business, 10A, consideration and possible action, approval of a special assessment on each taxable parcel in the Carson Desert Basin, the Lovelock Valley Basin, the Dixie Valley Basin, and Brady Hot Springs Groundwater Basin for a total of $20,643.44, and to certify the amount of special assessments to be entered on the 2026-2027 secured tax roll by the county treasurer. Linda?
Good morning, Linda Rothery for the record. This is our annual letter that we do get from the Nevada Division of Water Resources for all four of those basins. And yes, it is for our next tax year, which I'm already prepping for. So if you have any questions to that, I will be happy to answer them.
Any questions or comments for Linda? Okay, any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to levy a special assessment on each taxable water user in the Carson Desert Basin 101 for $10,000, the Lovelock Valley Basin 72 for $121.07, the Dixie Valley Basin 128 for $4,836.83, and Brady's Hot Springs Groundwater Basin 075 for $5,685.54, and to certify the amounts for the special assessments to be entered on the 2026-2027 secured tax roll by the county treasurer.
Mr. Chairman, in that motion, he referenced Lovelock Valley Basin as 72, and it's written as 73. Just want to clarify that real quick, and I second the motion.
Okay, with that edit, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Linda. 10B, consideration possible action, reappointment of Bob Ghetto to the TDR Sending Site Review Committee. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Churchill County Sending Site Review Committee reviews all of the transfer of development rights applications. They evaluate local entity comments, the conservation easement deed, proposed restrictions, and verifies the TDRs. The committee provides a report and recommendation to the Churchill County Planning Commission per section 16.14.080B of the Churchill County Code. The TDR Sending Site Review Committee is comprised of 3 members, including a minimum of 2 agricultural representatives and 1 at-large representative, appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. They serve a 3-year term. The planning director serves as the non-voting chair of the committee. Member Bob Ghetto's term ends on June 30th of this year, and he has indicated that he would like to continue serving. Mr. Ghetto has been a valuable member of the committee since its inception. Since he meets the qualifications, has the experience, and provides a good balance to the committee, staff recommends that he be appointed to serve another 3-year term on the TDR Sending Site Review Committee. This recommendation is being made with consideration that the applicant has a clear understanding of the duties and responsibilities related to this position. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Seeing as Bob Ghetto is my uncle, I'll be abstaining from any conversation or voting. With that, is there any questions or comments for Chris? Okay, any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to reappoint Bob Ghetto to serve a 3-year term on the TDR Sending Site Review Committee effective July the 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2029.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'm abstaining from voting. So 10C, consideration of possible action, Churchill County scoping comments to the United States Federal Energy Regulation Commission for the Great Basin Gas Transmission 2028 expansion project. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the notice that the county received announces the opening of the scoping process that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission will use to gather input from the public and interested agencies regarding the project. If you recall, this is the project is the Great Basin Transmission 2028 expansion project, which touches certain areas of Churchill County. As part of the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, the review process, the FERC, I'll shorten that, the FERC Commission takes into account concerns the public may have about proposals and the environmental impacts that could result from its action whenever it considers the issuance of a certificate of public convenience and necessity. This gathering of public information is referred to as scoping. The main goal of the scoping process is to focus the analysis in the environmental document on the important environmental issues. Churchill County will be sending a comment letter to indicate that we are an interested party and would like to stay apprised of the project. We do not have a pressing environmental concern at this time. We have until May 27th to provide our scoping comments to Washington, D.C., and there will be a meeting in Fernley on May 21st of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission if we would like representation to be present there to take our verbal comments. Comments may be submitted either in written or oral form. We have been in discussions with RCI, and we have Carla Kiaga from RCI here today in case they have any questions. They have helped us draft that letter, that scoping letter, and it is ready for signature should it so be approved. With that, I or Mr. Kiaga will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Chris. Is there any questions or comments from board or staff? Any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve scoping comments from Churchill County to the United States Federal Energy Regulatory Commission for the Great Basin Gas Transmission 2028 expansion project.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. 10D, consideration of possible action, approval to seek a reduction in the single-family home water dedication requirement from the Department of Water Resources. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Spross again for the record. So we've been told over time from several developers that we have a barrier when it comes to development in terms of cost. When you roll all the costs together with hookup fees, dedication of water rights, and the dedication of water rights is always set by the state water engineer. Years ago, before I was with the county did attempt to discuss with the state engineer a reduction in that 1.12 acre feet for residential property. But at the time, there was just not enough historical data for the state engineer to make that decision to allow us to do that. Since then, I've been here 6 years, and this happened before. We feel like we've collected a fair amount of data. We had a third party do an analysis of consumption that we have through our residences. We took that report and we sent it to the engineer that we use for all of our water and wastewater systems for their review. And they came back and say that there is a justification to reduce the water dedication to a single-family home. What this is for today is we don't have a number at this point in time what we want to approach the state engineer with. And we're going to continue to work with Shaw Engineering, and we're going to continue to work with the party that provided us the data. But we want to get approval from the board to be able to approach the state engineer to talk to them about a reduction and see if we can reduce that barrier for development and make it a little bit more economically appetizing. Once we do that, and should we be successful, there's some other avenues that we will look at in terms of hookup fees, but myself and staff feels that this is the best first approach, and this is the approach that we want to take. So with that, I know we have Mr. Farquhar here and Kim McCreary as well. He was the gentleman that prepared the report, and thank you very much for doing all that legwork and getting all that information and gathering all that. If there's any questions from the board, I would be happy to answer. I'm sure Chris would be very happy to answer as well, if there's any questions that I can.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments from board or staff?
I would just say that I think this is good for everybody, good for us as a county, it's good for developers, so I'm all for it.
That's correct. In order to move the county forward, we have to do something. It's definitely a known hurdle. Some of the things that I'm looking at is I like the fact that we're addressing single-family homes, but we also, I think we need to parallel and address multifamily homes at the same time. So I want to make sure as we approve this today that staff has direction to talk about the multifamily homes as well. I've looked at other counties. Mr. Spross had mentioned to me what we normally do is we cut the 1.12 in half, and that's how we gauge the multifamily. However, there's other models in other communities that I think might be a viable solution as well that even helps us even more. And as we all know, we have to prove beneficial use, so we don't want to get into that situation in the future. And we may only have one shot at this, so I want to make sure we give plenty of direction to address both of those. And I want this, I can't say it any louder, this is urgent for me. This should be the top thing on the county staff's list to get moving and get it moving forward fast. We have identified in this budget cycle we have a revenue problem, and this would help our revenue problem and also help our county grow where it needs to. So if you guys have any other comments there, if Mr. Fackley has something he'd like to say, I'd like to hear it.
I just have a question. How long does this typically take to get back? Does anybody have a? Sure.
I'll throw in my 2 bits, but please, Chris, come up. This is really kind of an unknown question for 2 reasons, and hopefully Chris will have a better answer than I will. I haven't gone through this before, but I think what makes this a bit of a hurdle is we have a brand new state water engineer. I'm sure he is being bombarded with questions, concerns, and applications. And so, Chris, maybe you can explain how long you anticipate something, even getting in to see the state engineer, and then the process.
Good morning, Chris Fakewee Consulting. It's a good question. I actually have spoken to staff at the Division of Water Resources about how this submittal process would work. We do have a new state engineer. He does come from he comes from a private consulting or background, so is more familiar with this perhaps than our previous leadership was. There is a defined path to take this in. The chief of the water rights section will review it. They review the, both supporting information as well as the raw data. Without committing to a specific time frame, I understand that there's no submittals like this in front of it, so we don't have a backlog or a queue to get into. So it's my understanding that if we were to submit something here, it would go into kind of active review, and we have a defined path to do that.
And since you took the mic there, can you speak to, and I know you work in northern Nevada and elsewhere, speak to the multifamily a little bit, some of the other models that people use to get that reduction where it needs to be.
Yes, so I work all throughout the state and a lot of, medium to small utilities. And the growth pressures that come are smaller lots, but also mixed with multifamily. Most of these projects have kind of a blended approach there for various reasons. And many of the methods, once you scale off, 1.12 is just at this point dated. It considered larger lots, a lot of different factors. And once you scale off of that and get closer to a unit-based kind of approach, meaning fixture counts, landscape demands, we're seeing demands down to 0.1 acre foot per door, with a fixture count for other, laundry or recreational use, to 0.25 to 0.3. So significantly lower than even the 0.56, with some components in there to really nail down what we think that water demand would be for those common areas and recreational uses.
All right, thank you for those comments. And in speaking to Mr. Spross too, he mentioned the connection fees. I don't want to actually have that on my list for a future agenda item that we don't forget that, because I think we need to address that as well. But as far as the motion goes today and the direction that I want to give, and you guys chime in there, is have staff maybe consult with Chris Fakwe and determine whatever gives us the least amount of water dedication would be the one that I would want to go with to present to the state for approval. I don't know how you guys feel about that, and that should give them enough leadway to do what is best, right?
Agreed. Okay, any other questions or comments? Any public comment? If none, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to seek reduction in the single-family and multifamily water home dedication requirement from the Department of Water Resources, with discussion with Fakwe Consulting and the county staff for the least amount of use of water per door.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you for your time today.
10E, consideration and possible action, approval of a memorandum of understanding between Churchill County, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management, Carson City District Office, and Winnemucca District Office, and the Bureau of Reclamation, Lahontan Basin Area Office, for the purpose of coordinating and cooperating and preparing of the Churchill County Checkerboard Resolution Area Implementation Strategy Plan for the Checkerboard Resolution, Section 2908 of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023 NDAA. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I know Wade is on this agenda item as well, so Wade, if you want to jump in whenever. So really what this is all about, this is all related to the Checkerboard Resolution. We've sat down with BLM and BOR, and through our conversations, it became evident that it would probably be good for us to have a memorandum of understanding as we start talking about checkerboard exchange, and how it relates to some of the subcontractor partners that we have that we want to make sure are involved in this conversation, such as RCI and people like that. So really what this is it's a memorandum of understanding between the county, the BLM, BOR, and when I say BLM, I mean both offices, because the Checkerboard Resolution is in the Carson District as well as in the Winnemucca District, so we have to get both of them included. And then once we have this approved and authorized, it will allow for a much more open exchange between us and our federal partners to start having these discussions as to how we would like to see this checkerboard exchange, how we'd like to see that. So Wade was instrumental in getting this drafted, getting it reviewed, and getting it to the point where it's at right now. And so if there's any questions in terms of the content or the narrative, I believe Wade would be better to answer those. But it's a straightforward contract, really just to allow us to really begin some in-depth discussions on checkerboard exchange.
Thank you, Chris. You want to add anything, Wade?
Nothing further, just to point out that this is really to establish how this process is going to work and how the different entities are going to work together, and so that's really what I wanted to emphasize here.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Okay, is there any public comment? Okay, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between Churchill County, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management, Carson City District Office, and Winnemucca District Office, and the Bureau of Reclamation, Lahontan Basin Area Office for the purpose of coordinating and cooperating in preparation of the Churchill County Checkerboard Resolution Area Implementation Strategy Plan for the Checkerboard Resolution, Section 2908 of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, did anyone want to pull anything off the consent agenda? Okay, if none, a motion to approve that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Agenda item number 12, consider future agenda items. Is there anything anyone has?
Mr. Chair, I do think there's an agenda item that should be on some future meeting or workshop. I think everybody is aware of what's happening in Reno as it relates to data centers. The county here really hasn't taken a position one way or another because we currently don't have anything in front of us as far as the data center applications or anything like that. And so I think in the future here, it would be prudent for the commission to have a workshop and kind of just discuss data centers, the pros and cons, and kind of, I don't want to say come up with a position, but at least have an exchange of ideas on how they would impact the county, whether good or bad. So that would be my recommendation.
Very good idea. Is there anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to get on a future agenda item that bring back the connection fees for new construction and any other fees that we currently charge in the permitting process that we need to look at to make sure they're where they need to be, or they need to be reduced or raised, which I don't like that word. But anyway, that's something I'd like to get done. I'll get it done soon, or coincide with the water dedication.
Agreed on both of those. Is there anything else? Okay, we'll jump to Commissioner and Management Staff reports. We'll start with you, Commissioner Hyde.
Had several meetings, nothing big to report. Got Oasis graduation tonight. I will be attending. Fallon Youth Club, we're going to have our fundraising dinner in September, golf in July. So if you guys, anybody's interested in golfing, I believe it's July 11th, anybody's interested in golfing, put a team together. We want to exceed what we've done in the past as far as money-wise. If anybody has any ideas for donations for the dinner, that would be great. If anybody has for some reason at any dinner, I know why, guns do very well. So if anybody would like to donate a gun, that's great. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I had an NAS Fallon Fire Management meeting, a Nevada Works meeting. I had the opportunity to get interviewed by the University of Washington about geothermal energy here in Nevada. I also had a Lahontan Valley Conservation District meeting last night, and I got an RTC meeting, and I'll also be attending Oasis graduation tonight. Commissioner Blakey?
Attended a Nevada Creative Economy Symposium in UNR last week. It's about all the stuff that happens in our world that's fun, but not really needed. And there's more to it than you'd think. Commissioner Hyde and myself attended the Nevada Interfaith Prayer Breakfast in Reno to support the religious communities. We also, I attended a Nevada DIDS meeting. Also, Commissioner Hyde and myself, I didn't see Commissioner Ghetto, I'm not sure if he's there, but we also attended and supported the fire department's street dance last week, which is a huge success. They served 600 hot dogs and 600 tri-tip sandwiches. So kudos to them, and kudos to the Gazzini family, Ted and Loretta, for their dedication to this community when they helped out there. And then also be attending the Oasis graduation tonight. Thank you.
Wade?
Nothing, thank you.
Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of weeks ago, I attended the Nevada City County Management Association annual meeting in Lake Tahoe. It was attended by a lot of people from Washoe County and Clark County, but there was a lot of interesting information shared, some of which I had forwarded to the board for their review, as well as Ms. Weideman and Joe Sanford. I urge you to have a look at that because there is some valuable information in there. And then I do want to make a statement. After considerable thought, I've decided to resign from my position as county manager effective June 12, 2026. Serving this county has been one of the greatest professional honors of my career. I'm proud of the work that has been accomplished, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve our employees, residents, and community partners. I want to thank the board for the trust that was placed in me, and I especially want to recognize the county staff for their professionalism, dedication, and commitment to public service. Their work often goes unseen, but it is essential to keeping this county moving forward every day. This decision was not made lightly, and I remain committed to ensuring a smooth transition and will do everything I can to support the organization during this process. I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve this community. It truly has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Chris, we've worked together for the past 6 years since I've been on Planning Commission. You've served this county in tremendous ways, and you'll be dearly missed. And
Thank you.
Yep. Linda?
I echo that. You will be missed, Chris. Anyways, for my office, April returns are approximately $200,000, which was good for that investment month. Our 2026 tax sale concluded Friday. That was amazing, and we just don't have those final numbers in yet. Mail ballots, we have mailed out over 14,000. They went out periodically in the last month. Early voting starts Saturday here in the Commission chambers from 10 to 2 and will be through June 5th. Monday through Friday will be 8 to 6, and then Election Day is June 9th.
Thank you, Linda. Tara?
I do have something. I just wanted to remind everyone that the next meeting on June 4th will be in the Buckland Room at the 3C Rafter Arena.
Thank you. Mr. Mallory?
No comment about the office, Mr. Chairman, but I would like to comment that Chris will certainly be missed. He was a very easy county manager to work with and communicate with, and he certainly had a great confidence in his abilities, and we're going to miss him very much. Thank you, Chris.
Denise?
I agree with Art's. My office is busy. We're accepting exemption renewals, and we're picking up new construction before the roll close this next month.
Thank you, Denise. Tasha?
I echo the same with Chris. It's been a pleasure working with you, and thank you for always listening and being committed and having an understanding and being patient with all of us. It's been great.
Sheriff Orozco?
Don't know what to add to all that other than Chris. It's been a pleasure working with you. Sorry to see you go, and hopefully whomever the county has your replacement continues on with what you started. We are prepping for, obviously, the high school graduation for traffic control for when it happens in their June, and we're plugging along with our new hires and get our positions filled. That's what I got.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 14, claims
Mr.
and
Chairman?
payroll. Go ahead.
Can we go back to agenda item number 12?
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to request a future agenda item for the meeting on June the 4th for open discussion and action after receiving the information from County Manager Spross this morning for us to discuss an action on the county manager's position, how we're going to proceed, either in an interim basis or start the hiring process. I want to achieve that day an interim or what we're going to do, and then how we're going to move forward with that. That's one agenda item. And the other agenda item, and I think since we're here so soon, I want to look at the assistant county manager's position as well during that meeting. Maybe I want that agenda item before the county manager's position to discuss its workings, and why do we have it? Do we really need it? Can we combine those positions? What needs to happen there? I am not a fan of the HR director being a at-will employee of the county manager's office. I want that discussion to be had.
I think we're getting a little off.
Eric, if we could just limit it to the future agenda item and without any discussion.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure what we want to talk about.
Okay. Anything else while we're back on 12? Okay, claims and payroll are going around. At this time, is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.